Hello, welcome to Thursday's edition of Cracking the Cryptic, and on screen we have a puzzle called Prime Whispers, and this is by Daoud ibn Muhiddyin, and I have to say this looks like one of the most elegant puzzles you could possibly imagine. If you did our Sudoku puzzle hunt a couple of weeks ago, and I know a number of you are still working on it, we're still getting correct solutions submitted, you'll have tried a puzzle called Marvolo's Ring. And in that puzzle, there was a ring in the grid where the adjacent cells along the ring had to add up to squares or cubes. And, you know, this puzzle is a bit like that, but it's even more elegant to my mind. Basically, you can see there are lines in the grid, and pairs of adjacent numbers along lines have to add up to prime numbers. Now, not all of the possible lines are given, but I have to say, I take a look at this grid and it's beautiful. There's just one given number in the grid, and apart from that, a load of lines, and apparently this disambiguates into a solvable Sudoku. So I'm really looking forward to trying this. It appears on Logic Masters Germany, and it has a hugely high rating and a number of comments basically saying that this puzzle is just so gorgeous and it should definitely appear on Cracking the Cryptic, so I sincerely hope that's true. And also Daoud, who constructed the puzzle, he actually emailed me about it as well and suggested that it might be worth us covering. So as I say, I'm very much looking forward to giving it a go. Before I give it a go, I want to mention something about our apps. Our developer has responded to some requests that you've made, which is if you own the app on more than one device, up to this point it's not been possible to basically transfer progress between devices. So if you owned it on a desktop, you couldn't link that to how far you'd got on your phone. Well, now it is possible. So it's possible in our Sandwich app as we speak. There's just been an update to it to include some new puzzles, but also to include this addition basically that allows you to generate a code which you can then enter in on your other device, and it will get you completely up to date with where you are in the sequence of puzzles. So yeah, we're really proud of this, and this is going to go live on all our other apps as well. So that's Classic, Chess, Thermo in the course of July. So I hope that is an improvement which most of you will approve of. Now let's have a look at this puzzle. Do have a go at this first. To play the puzzle as usual, you click on the link under the video, and with that, let's get cracking. Now, how shall we start this? So numbers on lines add up to prime numbers. Right, look, yeah, okay, so we've got row 5 of the grid. Must be important, mustn't it? Because the line extends the whole way along the row. Okay, so let's think about this, just basic principles of prime numbers. If we had two odd numbers adjacent to each other along this line, they would add up to an even number. And if we had two even numbers adjacent to each other on the line, they would add up to an even number as well. Now, the only even prime number is the number 2, and we can't put two ones along this line. So we have to make sure we separate all of the odd numbers from all of the even numbers. Now, that's lovely. So basically, that means that in order to do that, there are 5 odd numbers and 4 even numbers. We'll have to locate the odd numbers in those positions. Now, I think I've remembered you like me to use orange for odd numbers, and is it blue for even numbers? So I will go with that, and I hope that I've remembered correctly. So orange is going to be odd, blue is even. I'm going to label that as odd as well, therefore. And look, we can extend this now. So this square is adjacent, well, it's the next cell along a line from an odd number, so those two have both got to be even numbers. That's a line of evens there. This one's got to be even. That's got to go to an odd number, even. All of those three have got to be odd, look. That one's got to be, those two have got to be even. Oh, and this one's sticking out, that's got to be even. And I've broken the puzzle. Oh. No. Well, I have broken it. I've absolutely broken it with what I've written in here. That is not right. But it is beautiful. What a beautiful start to this puzzle. Now, let's have a think about box 1 all of a sudden. Oh, Alexa's getting excited as well.
I can't connect to your Wi-Fi network.
Sorry.
You can find setup instructions in the help section of your Alexa app.
Let's look at this box. Now you can see there is a ring in this box which covers 8 of the cells. Now, given that we know we've got to prevent 2 adjacent digits, well, we've got to ensure 2 adjacent digits add up to a prime number, therefore we've got to make sure that they don't add up to an even number. How are we going to do this? Well, the only way in a ring like this, which is 8 cells long, is we're going to have to go odd, even, odd, even, odd, even, odd, even. Now, this is what caused me a bit of a problem just now, because I can appreciate there are 4 odds and 4 evens in that arrangement, and therefore in the whole box there are 5 odd numbers, which meant this square couldn't be even, which I'd labelled it to be. This square has to be odd, and look how beautiful this is. So now on this line we have 2 odd numbers adding up to a prime. Now this is only possible. The only even prime number is of course 2, so these digits have to be 1, and this works on the line because the ones are not in the same row, column or box. So where a line sort of deviates like this and goes diagonally and crosses out of a box, it is possible for 2 odd numbers to appear on a line, which is certainly not something I was expecting. That is absolutely gorgeous. Now look, we can use column 2. Column 2 has 3 even numbers on it already. So, yeah, look, if I make this even, this would be even, and this would be even, and that would be even as well. But that would create 5 even numbers. If I just show you 5 even numbers in column 2, well, that's not going to be right. So in fact, this line must have the opposite parity. All of those must shift to odd numbers, and the remainder are even. 1's got to live in one of those cells at the top from just by Sudoku. Now look at row 2 now. In fact, row 2 and column 2 we've got stuff going on. In column 2 I've got 4 even digits already placed, so those 2 have got to be odd. And in row 2 I've got this domino. Now this domino must have different parity. So this must have a different parity to this. So one of these squares is going to be an odd number, and that's going to be the 5th odd number in row 2 of the grid. So that square has got to be even. And now look how important this is. This is on this ring shape. So now we know those 2 have got to be odd. That one's got to be odd. Those 2 have got to be even. So make sure the parity keeps shifting. This can't be 1 now, because 1 is definitely not even. Okay, 1 second. Let me just stare at this for a moment. See if I can. This square's obviously got to be even because it can't be odd. We can't have 2 odd digits adding up to a prime unless they're both 1. That gives us 4 evens in row 1. So those 2 have got to be odd. Now we've got 5 odds in box 2. Those 2 have got to be even. I love this puzzle. This is just so fun. Oh my goodness. Now, let's keep this going now. So we've got... where's the next... Is there a next easy breakthrough? Stuck. I presume I've got to use parity again to somehow make progress, but I'm not spotting. There we go. Yeah, there we go. Let's have a look down here. We've got 3 even digits in column 6, and we have a domino here. So one of these will be even, therefore the rest of the row, or the rest of the column I should say, has got to be odd. One of these has now got to be even, because these are a domino within the same box. So this square, so that's going to be the 4th even digit in box 5, therefore that square's got to be odd. I'm running out of ideas here now. Oh, this is beautiful. This is another beautiful, beautiful piece of logic. Look at this ring. This ring is seven cells. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So it's impossible in a ring of size 7 to have alternation, odd, even, etc. It's not like this ring where you can keep going odd, even forever. When it's of size 7, you're forced to have 2 odds or 2 even cells next to each other, because if we start here and go odd, even, odd, even, odd, you can see this square has to be odd again. So we know in this run of 7, because it's an odd number of cells along the loop, we have to put two digits of the same parity next to each other, yet they have to add up to a prime. How do we do that? Well, we know from what we did up here that we have to find the only way we can do that and make them add up to a prime is with 2 number 1s adjacent to each other. And look how beautiful this shape is. I can't put the 2 1s on this diagonal because these ones rule it out. I can't put the 2 1s on that diagonal because these ones rule it out. Therefore, only there will it work. Those are 2 1s and they're both odd. Therefore, we can put the evens in like this, and these 2 must be odd like that. And now we've got 5. We've got 5 odd digits in column 5 of the grid. So there we go. We can fill in the rest of the evens in box 8, put the rest of the odds in box 8. Row 7 now. These 2 squares are a domino. They must have different parity. That's going to provide our 5th odd digit. So these must both be even. What a start. How elegant is that? That is absolutely gorgeous, gorgeous Sudoku setting. Now, what can we do next? Let me just take a stare and see if I can spot anything good with parity. We must be very close to being able to colour the whole grid in. I'm not spotting it though. Maybe I've got to do some Sudoku. Let's have a look at that maybe. So 1 in this box can't be in an even square, so it's got to be in one of those 2 squares. That's quite nice. That locks a 1 into the bottom of the grid. Look, from these ones interacting. Now actually let's look at this run of, we've got a run of even digits here that, yeah, they connect to 2 odd digits. So whatever odd digits we put in these 2 squares have to add up to primes when we add the same set of even digits to them. So let's have a think about this. If this was a 1, and we could add 2, 4, 6, not 8. So if there's a 1, it can be next to 2, 4, and 6, but it can't be next to an 8. So actually, look, this square, that's next to a 1. That can't be an 8. That can't be an 8. That can't be an 8. I think that one we don't know about yet. So 1 goes with 2, 4, and 6. 3 goes with 2, 4... No, 3 doesn't go with 6. 3 can go with 8. So 2, 4, and 8. 5 can't go with 4, but it can go with 2, 6, and 8. So far we've got 3 numbers with 3 different sets of even digits that they can go with. I'm just trying to get this clear in my head. So 1 goes with 2, 4, and 6. 3 goes with 2, 4, and 8. 5 goes with 2, 6, and 8. 7 goes with 7 doesn't go with 2. 7 doesn't go with 2 or 8. So 7 only goes with 4 and 6. So 7 can't go in those squares. Oh, in fact 7, you can just place 7 in row 5, because 7 can only go with a maximum of 2 even digits. And look here, that cell needs to go with 3. These both need to go with 3. This square here needs to go with 3, so 7 goes there. And in fact, we therefore know that it goes with 4 and 6. So coming back here though, I hadn't looked at 9 yet. So 9 can go with 2, with 4. 9 can't go with 6. And it can go with 8. So 2, 4 and 8. So 3 and 9 are the only cells, or the only digits that share the same 3 even numbers. So these are 2, 4 and 8. These are 3 and 9. This can't be a 1. The 1 goes up there. The 1 is odd, so I can colour it in. This must be a 1 by... Oh my goodness me, I didn't mean to do that. What on earth happened there? I just want to put a 1 in that square. This square must be a 5, because it can't be 3, 9, 1 or 7, and we know it's odd. 5 doesn't go with 4, does it? So that must be a 6. This must be a 4. And 5 doesn't go with 4, so the only square that's even in box 5 that can be a 4 is that one. That must be 4. Those two squares must be 2 and 8 in some order. 4, 6. So this can't be 4. This can't be 4. So this is a 2, 4, 8 triple. So that must be 4. Wow. Okay. 2, 4, 8 triple. This is the last even digit in the column. So that's a 6. This is not 6 now. Now, let's have a think about this. Can we go... I've got all sorts of stuff going on now. So this square is an odd number that can't be adjacent to a 4. So this square can't be 5, can't be 1, can't be 3. This has to be 7 or 9. 3 in box 1, because of this 3, must go in one of those two cells. And 3 can't go next to 6, because 3 and 6 add to 9. That's not prime. This must be 3. That fixes the 3, 9 beneath it. So 9 is now... look, we can do it again with 9. 9 now... Oh, actually no, hang on. I was about to say something... for some reason I thought 9 couldn't go here, but 9 can go there. But let's look at it the other way round. Let's look at box 1 and ask where 9 can go. 9 can't go next to 6 because 9 and 6 are 15. So 9 must go in the top corner there, or top row. That gives us a 5 and a 7. This square must be a 5 or a 7 as well. What? It's just gorgeous, isn't it? Okay. This cell is a bit interesting because this even number has to go with 4 different odd numbers and create primes. So I'm not sure. That might be restricted. I'm not sure. This one places a 1 there. Look, that places a 1 at the bottom by Sudoku. And what can we do next? 6, look, where does 6 go? 6 is even, obviously, and it's in box 2 somewhere. This 6 and this 6, place the 6. It's got to be here. That means, so this isn't a 6. The 6 down here is in one of those two squares. This square has to be a 6. And can we go further than that? Not quite. So 6. So the options for this square now, this is an odd number, and it can't be 1 or 3, and it can't be 9, because 9 would be 9 and 6 is obviously not prime, so that must be 5 or 7. That gives us a 5-7 pair here. So this must be a 9. That's the last odd digit that's available in row 2 of the grid. This 9, where does a 9 go in the central box now? It must be here. The 9 at the bottom goes here. Wow. Okay, 9, 9. So there's a 9 in one of those 3 squares, but we don't yet know, I think, which one it's going to go into. 1 can't go with 8, can it? 1 can't go with 8. And it's got a 6 there. So this is a 2-4. And that creates a 2-4 pair, which means that 8 must go there. So now there's an 8 in one of these 2 cells. An 8 can't go with 1. We've just looked at that. So the 8 must go there. 1 is an odd number. Slowly but surely, I am whittling away at this puzzle. Now, this must be a 2 or a 4 to complete. That's just completing row 2 of the grid. Now. So in this box, look. Oh, we've got 5 here. The 5 is shifted up there. And this, I was just thinking about where 7 can go. I don't think this can be a 7. Because 7 has to be surrounded by 4 and 6s, and it can't be here, because it can have a 4 next to it, but the other square will be a 2 or an 8, and that breaks it. So this is a 7, and therefore this is a 3. That locks a 3 in the top corner now. The 7, is that useful? Not quite. 8 here can't be next to 7 because 8 and 7 are 15. That gives us a 5. 5, 7. 7 must be in one of those 2 squares because 7 can't be next to 8 on the line. So this has got to be... this has got to be odd, and it can't be 1, 3 or 5. So the only option for that square now is 9. Okay, so are we... This can't be 2 because 2 can't be adjacent to 7. So that's 4, that's 2. This square here must be 2. That's okay, isn't it? That gives us a 2 here. These 2 squares have got to be 4 and 8. And 8 can't go next to 7. So that's a 4. This is an 8. 8 lives down here in the grid now just by doing some Sudoku. And 4 lives in one of those 3 squares. 7 now must go here in box 4, and those 2 squares have got to be 5 and 6. So we'll label that up and label the 7 as an odd number. 7 must go here by Sudoku. 3 must go here by Sudoku. The 2 fixes that this is a 4. That square should be a 5 by Sudoku. So those 2 have got to be 3 and 7 now. None of them are on a line, so we're going to have to disambiguate those some other way. The 5 here tells us this is a 7, 9, well, they get disambiguated straight away. And suddenly the puzzle feels easier, doesn't it? It feels like it's more approachable. But the early work we did was so, it was just a beautiful idea after beautiful idea. Now let's have a look down here, because one of those squares, yeah, this is a 2-8 pair, and both of those are even, obviously. Okay, we've still not actually... we need 4 and 7 into those squares. The 4 fixes it, doesn't it? So that's 4, that's 7. Obviously 4 is even and 7 is odd. Nine is definitely not even, so 9 has to go here in box 6 of the grid. So it can't go in this square. 1 we know can't be next to an 8. So 8 must live in one of those two cells. I'm not sure if we can disambiguate that. I'm not seeing it instantly. So these are a 2-6 pair. Again, I can't quite see how to disambiguate that, but we do know now this square's definitely got to be odd. Therefore, it's got to be a 3 or a 5. These squares, look at the bottom of this. Oh, that's, this, yeah, 7, 8, and 9 into these 3 squares. 7, 9 there. This square's got to be an 8. Now that's perfect because that gives us the parity now of this Y shape. These have got to be 7 and 9. We can see we can fill those in. 9 here, 7 here. They're both odd. This must be odd because it must change parity. It's not possible to put 1s along this line, so we must keep strictly alternating. That completes, look. So this square's got to be the 8 because we now know where the 4 even digits are in column 7. This square is not 8, it's most certainly odd, and it must be a 3 or a 5, and that's lovely. That's lovely because that disambiguates that that's a 6 and that's a 5, which we can now label up. Again, there may be more efficient ways of doing this, so please don't get cross with me if I'm not doing it in the most efficient way. Now, let's have a look. How do we finish this off with aplomb? We've got 4, 5, and 6 to place in these squares. That can't be 5, that can't be 4. That one we don't know yet, but this is even, so that can't be 5 either, which means the 5 is definitely there. Now we're going to be able to do the same trick over here, look. Which one is the 5? It must be the odd one. That fixes the 5 and the 3 at the top. Now we know that's 3 because it must be an odd digit. That completes the parities for the bottom row. That must be that, and now we have the whole of the parity of the grid fixed in our minds, and we just have to finish it off now. So probably, what's going to be the best way of doing this? I'm not sure yet. So let's carry on down here. These have got to be 4 and 6. So 4, 6 like that. The 4 and 6 over here get placed. This is a 6 now. This square here has got to be a 2 or an 8. You can see it's got to be a 2 because of the 8 on this side. That fixes the 2 and the 8 there. The 2 and the 8 here. That's a 6. That's a 2. This square here should be a 2 as well, I think. That looks like it's working. And there you go. 2, 8. 8 here. I think that looks right. Let's check. That's how to solve the puzzle. That was an absolute joy. I loved that. Do let me know in the comments how you found it. I'm wondering, this the 2 1s here. It's a beautiful, beautiful idea, and I suspect there will be some people who are convinced there's a mistake in the top left-hand corner of the grid, which is what I thought I'd done straight away. So I'll be interested to hear your stories about that, and we'll see you later on Cracking the Cryptic.